Yes. Good evening, people. How are we all doing on this fine Saturday evening? It's Saturday evening. It is Saturday evening. You know me, I always lose track of the days. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another edition of Late Night Chats. Got a few things we want to go over. Of course, the Erling Haaland unsettled at Man City story that broke this week. I've not seen anybody really stream on it. I don't know, is it because they don't want to give the time of day or they don't want to have the conversation? I don't know. But myself and Joe we're going to get into it. And we want you guys to get involved too. First things first, as always, the goal is always 50 likes on these streams. So hit the like button and help us get to 50 likes on these streams. Let's see who's in the building. We got MSSSS, Stephen Handler, Roberto, Marky, Alex, United winners. Big up Briggsy. And of course, welcome to the HMTV Club, Rosemary. Clap, 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 clap. Welcome, Rosemary, for joining the community. Yes. The army is growing. I'm telling you, people, the army is growing. This HMTV army we have here is growing. We've got 3 members now, Briggsy, Brax, and Rosemary. If you want to join the army, it's in the description. Joe's going to pin a message. You can join the HMTV Club and be a legend and part of our HMTV Manchester City Army. It's a special group to be part of. And she also comes in with a super chat. Rosemary, honestly, can't thank you enough for your support. She says, Erling will stay. He loves City, and I think he don't want to play with Mbappe. Have a great night. Well, it's funny you say that, Rosemary, because we're going to get into the whole thing. We're going to look at the report. We're going to look at what Pep has said. We're going to debunk it. And just see how we feel about it. We want you guys to get involved too. Big up Jimmy Grimble, big up Dano, big up Rodri_16. Yeah, the link is in the chat now. If anybody wants to be a part of this HMTV army, $3.99 a month, and you're just help supporting the channel. It's an army, I call it, but you're helping support the channel, and you're massively appreciated. But if you don't want to do that, just hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. We're on 30 already. We could hit 50 pretty soon. Right, let's. Actually, I want to address these comments first. Grizz Khan won that yesterday. He said nobody cares about City even when you win. Did you see this segment on the Big Six show, Joe? Me and Grizz at the very end. Big up Stacey in the chat. Did you see that, Joe?
I have not seen it, no. What was Grizz rambling about?
So every week on the Big Six, Grizz is my brother, man. Grizz is my brother. He's a good friend of mine. And when you see us arguing on shows, it's not deep. It's not deep. We after the show we have a laugh and that, but he always does this every week. He's like, City are irrelevant. People don't care even when you win. So if he wants to make those childish comments and talk about charges and that, I made the childish comments back. I was like, listen, I can sense your pain. I'd be in pain too if my greatest manager of all time left because he's tired of competing with my manager. We ruined your golden era. Klopp's tired of competing with Pep, so he's gone. I told him how it is. I told him you'd have more trophies if it wasn't for Manchester City. Is that fact? Yes, it absolutely is. Simple as. Anyways, enough of that Grizz Khan Manchester City waffle, because we don't need opinions from Liverpool United fans. I don't care about their opinions. I don't when it comes to them, slating Man City. I just don't care. I really don't care, and I will get petty back. It's my nature. I'll defend Manchester City. I'll always defend Manchester City. And I'll say things that need to be said, you know what I'm saying? Bring up Pink Mango. Hi Hugh, should you change your channel name to HMTV 189 because I search HMTV on YouTube, it shows another channel. We might do that. 40 people in the building. Like I said, make sure you've hit the like button. We're going to get into the Haaland talk now. Right, let's debunk this because, look, let's start off by saying this is no shock. This is no surprise. It doesn't come as it's not taken me by surprise or caught me off guard that, Spanish press particularly are saying Haaland is unsettled at Manchester City. For me, when I read this is an attempt to unsettle Haaland at Manchester City because I had not read or heard anything. And look, I'm no ITK, I'm nothing special, but I know people who know people within the club. I know people who know people who know Erling Haaland, and I've heard nothing to suggest that Haaland is unhappy at Manchester City. This, for me, is a case of the Spanish press trying to do the unsettling. Because, look, if you're going to say Haaland is unsettled at Manchester City, do better than the climate. Make a better excuse for being unsettled. Like, if you'd said maybe he's fallen out with someone or their visions aren't in line and he's not happy that if he stays at Man City, he's not going to progress the way he wants. Do better than telling me Haaland doesn't like Man City or being at Man City because he doesn't like the weather. Now, look, let's dive deeper into the weather thing a bit more as well. I can't believe this is a story, actually. If you told me, let me think about this. Riyad Mahrez, Algerian, grew up. Did he grow up in Algeria or was it France? Maybe I'll use a different one.
It was one of the two.
Alvarez.
Yeah.
Let me do Alvarez.
Better example.
Alvarez grew up in Argentina, a hot climate, scorching hot sun. You know what I'm saying? A totally different climate to Manchester. If you told me he was unsettled in Man City because of the climate, it would be slightly more believable. I'd say maybe. You know, Bernardo Silva type thing. Doesn't like the weather at Manchester. Haaland's Norwegian. Norway have some of the worst weather in the world. He was born in Leeds. Leeds isn't known for having a beautiful climate. So Haaland isn't exactly someone that is born and raised on the Mediterranean sun. So you're trying to tell me now that he's 23 and he's got a bit of cash, all of a sudden, the winning football club he's at, he doesn't want to be there anymore. Because get this, he doesn't like the rain. He doesn't like a bit of the cold. A guy from literally the Arctic Circle, Bryne, the village in Norway which he grew up in, is in the Arctic Circle. Geography. Trying to tell me this guy doesn't like
geography lesson. We're having a geography lesson there. This is what it's descended into. We're getting geographical with this.
It's crazy, mate. It's crazy. Listen, give me your thoughts, Joe. I'm going to find some of the reports, and I've got also some quotes from Pep. If you haven't seen them, they're interesting. They are very interesting quotes. But I'm going to read them out to you if you do know them. So we're going to go over it anyway. But Joe, listen, Haaland unsettled at Manchester City because he doesn't like the weather.
Yeah, I think everybody just kind of forgets that he's born in a very cold, very northern hemisphere country that doesn't have great weather. Like, if you... I would have understood it more, even if it's something like he thinks he's achieved all he can and he's ready to try a new challenge. Even that's more believable because he's won everything. Apart from the Carabao Cup, of course. We don't disrespect that competition. But he's won a treble. Like, he came in to win the Champions League. He won it season 1. Like, he's done what he came here to do. So maybe that would be a more believable reason. But the weather, it's the same reason they use for every single player. Bernardo Silva, why is he one out? Oh, because the weather's shit. Haaland, why is he one out? Because the weather's shit. Who's next? Alvarez wants out because the weather's shit. That's slightly more believable, like you said. But even then, I'm not totally buying it. Like, how many times did they use the weather as an excuse for a player not being happy in a report to Spain? How many times did they say it before people stop believing it and stop overreacting? Because I don't know, I didn't believe it with the whole Bernardo Silva thing really at first, and then I kind of obviously understood that he was more homesick than the weather. It wasn't necessarily to do with the climate. It was to do he wanted to move close back to home, which is fine. I get that. But the weather, I feel like Jesse Lingard. The weather. No. No. The weather.
The weather. It's look. What it's whatever. If they want to make this report, it's whatever. Let's talk about who's making the report. Now, who actually made the original report? I'm not quite sure, because for those of you who aren't in tune with what happens in Spanish football press, it's usually one outlet will create the story, and then the rest of them, like flies to shite, will steal off that story and run with the story themselves. It's a pantomime. It's a circus. The Spanish football press, tic tac, all that shit. You know, they want to make it like a circus, really public. Like, you think of the personalities involved in Spanish football. You've had Bartomeu at Barcelona over the years. You've had Joan Laporta at Barcelona now. You have Florentino Perez at Real Madrid now. All really extravagant, out there, egotistical personalities that want the media to be giving them attention and creating stories, whether it's fabricated or not. So let's look at the Spanish press and talk about them. Let's talk about them, because look, if you'd said to me, this is the German press, Bild, Christian Falk and them, I'd say, okay, there might be something to consider here. There might be something to think about, because in my own rankings of credibility, the German media have more credibility than the Spanish. But when it comes to the Spanish, they are notorious. And I'm not trying to generalize every Spanish journalist and every Spanish media outlet. I'm just saying the ones from my experience, you know, the ones that tried to push Aguero to Spain, the ones that tried to push David Silva back to Spain, the ones that have, since Haaland literally signed for us, since the day he signed for us, have been making reports about him inevitably leaving or ultimately leaving. They this is what they do. This is what they do. They feel they have a God-given right to demand the greatest players in world football play in their league. Now, why would the Spanish press feel like this? Because, of course, they have the two institutions, Barcelona and Real Madrid. They're used to having Messi's, Ronaldo's, Beckham's, R9's, these kind of guys. And these kind of personalities fuel their papers. These kind of personalities fuel their media wagons, gets their clicks, sells the paper, sells the clips, whatever. Right now, Spanish media or Spanish football suffering. They don't have a Ronaldo. They don't have a Messi. They don't have a Mbappe. They don't have a Haaland. They don't have a superstar. You got Vinicius. You've got Pedri, but these guys ain't for me like they're not on that pedestal. Maybe Bellingham's getting there. Maybe Vinicius is getting there, but they don't have a Haaland or an Mbappe, who are obviously the next two big things. So they are trying to drive Erling Haaland to Real Madrid. The same way PSG fans have dealt with them trying to drive Kylian Mbappe to Real Madrid. Now, Mbappe may want that, he may not, we don't know, but the Spanish media have been pushing really, really hard for it. We as fans, Joe, we're going to have to get used to this because, look, we're learning, not the hard way, but we're learning the cold hard truths of having a global superstar in our squad that, you know, everyone wants him gone or else in their league.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, it was just a few weeks ago that some Barca radio station or whatever was saying Arteta's going to quit Arsenal because Xavi, as soon as Xavi's out the door, as soon as Xavi's like, yeah, I'm going to quit after this season. First headline from Spain: Arteta to quit Arsenal. Like, come on, be serious now. Like, come on, it just happens, and it's nothing new. I do agree with your point. Like, when we talk about talents, like Vinicius Jr. is one of the top players in the world, but we are talking, when we talk Messi, Ronaldo, R9, all these players, they are Ballon d'Or level players. Like, who was the top three in the Ballon d'Or just gone? Haaland was there, Mbappe was there, in and around those sorts of players. They don't have that. So they clearly want it. They clearly want the Super League as well, but that's a whole different kettle of fish that I don't even want to talk about anymore. But that's sort of where they're at. They want to bring commercial value back to the league. They want to bring the big names back to the league so they can gain popularity. Because at the moment, they maybe feel that they're missing out from other leagues because, of course, the Premier League is very lucrative. Got Haaland over there. And Mbappe is going backwards and forwards between PSG and Madrid. I don't really care about that story anymore. I saw today that he's going to announce that he's not going to sign a new contract, but where have we heard that one before? So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like, I get where they're coming from. They want these superstars, but they can do better than just making up bullshit reports that these superstar players that they want are all unhappy conveniently at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, look, the climate for me is it's a poor one. It's a poor one to use, that Erling Haaland wants to leave or he's unsettled because of the climate. Also, we're talking about a Manchester City squad who are never out of Abu Dhabi and the hot states of America. Like, it's not as if he's 365 sitting there. And Manchester has its days. Look, Manchester, it may not be the best climate all year round, but it does have some days where the weather's quite nice. We're not talking about, an absolute lashing rain shithole here. It's a bit disrespectful to Manchester, if you ask me. And big up Craig Party Time in the chat. He says his original contract allows him to leave for set release clause 12 months after Pep leaves Man City. So if Pep leaving Man City is intertwined with Haaland's release clause, we once again can be pretty calm, because Pep is making noises that he may potentially extend his contract further. He's regularly making noises that he's very happy at Manchester City and that how he has everything he wants. So if they're intertwined, like Craig says, and I believe Craig, then we once again have slightly less to be worried about. He also says, and the talk of his 86 million Real Madrid release clause is also false. I find this a really interesting one.
His club specific release clause, because that exists.
I find that to be absolute horse shit. So I agree with you, Greg, by the way. I agree with you. I can't see in any world Cheeky or Khaldoon sitting down in a contract negotiation with Erling Haaland and being little broed by Haaland in regards to Real Madrid. Haaland saying, Haaland and his entourage saying, we want a specific release clause in this contract that states Real Madrid have a set figure, but if they trigger, Erling can go. I mean, look, we may not be as big as Real Madrid. I'm perfectly happy to accept that. But we have pride. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to sit here and allow ourselves to be told, yeah, we'll let those big boys over in Madrid have their own release clause because they're so amazing and they're so perfect and you ultimately want to go to them. No. A club-specific release clause. Have you ever heard of the likes? Can anybody in the chat, 41 in the building, can any of you tell me about a player who's had a specific release clause for a club? I know we've had Ballon d'Or clauses and all these kind of things, Martial and that, but for a player to leave for a specific club for a specific fee doesn't make sense to me. We're eight likes off our goal of 50, by the way, people. 8 likes in the first, or 8 likes off in the first 20 minutes. The stream is insane. So 8 of you hit the like button and we'll hit our goal of 50 straight away. And the pin comment in the chat is the link to become part of the HMTV army. You can join our army, join the community, become a channel member like Brax, Rosemary, and Briggsy. Briggsy was the first ever. So yeah, the link's there if you want to help us out on that front. But you know what I'm saying, Joe? The club-specific release clause for me is just, it's nonsense. I've never heard of anything like that before.
I've heard of, well, we know firsthand from competition-specific release clauses. Jack Grealish's 100 million release clause was for Champions League clubs. So it wasn't a certain club, but it was a set group of, you know, if a club in European competition that is the Champions League, you know, came in for me.
We're not just a champion. Like, we're not an Aston Villa, with all due respect. I mean,
I know,
we are.
But I'm just naming the example of. I've never heard of a club-specific release clause. The closest I've heard of is that Jack Grealish one that we did, where it was we were in the Champions League, so we had a release clause that was available for us to trigger. So that's as close as I've seen, and there's no way that there's a clause like that, you know, from our side, because there is no competition higher that we don't compete in. You know, unless it's a La Liga release clause, in which case that's a lot of bollocks. That doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist. Club-specific release clause. That's more a gentleman's agreement sort of thing than a release clause of, if this club comes in for you, you know, we will let you go. But I doubt that's even been a topic of conversation, to be honest, because the whole point has been, I mean, there's talk of him signing a new contract, and all it is just pushing the release clause a year further back. That's all it is. Like, he will have a release clause always. It will never be club specific because we're not stupid.
It's not even that we're not stupid. It's just that we have pride. We're not going to allow ourselves to be degraded like that. That there's another club specifically that Haaland wants to go to that is greater than us. That's his ultimate goal. We're not going to. I just can't see us. I mean, Craig Party Time again. Specific club release clause isn't legally allowed, as it would be breach employment anti-competition laws. Look, I'm not clued in on that sort of thing, Craig, but I believe you. I'll take your word for it. Briggsy, release clause can only work if the player wants to move to that club country. Deals can fall through if the player don't agree, if personal terms are unagreed. And then Craig also said Haaland release clause was 188 million euro for summer 2024 if Pep didn't extend, and no Premier League club can buy him. So you're looking at what? 188 million euros, about in and around 160 million pounds, maybe. If Pep didn't extend for the summer 2024, so that's this summer. Are you talking about Pep's latest extension, Craig, or the potential extension? I'm not too sure.
I'd say latest extension because his contract isn't up at the end of this season, is it?
No, 2025, no.
Yeah, so basically at the time of his, you know, before he didn't extend, his release clause was that. His release clause was going to be 188 million euros going into this summer window coming up if Pep didn't extend. But he did extend. So I imagine that's been pushed back a year.
It's either been pushed back a year or cancelled entirely.
And then that's why he's, either the number's gone up or that's why they're going to negotiate a new, you know, 1-year extension where they're going to, you know, change that release clause date and terms and all that. What's the chat saying? He's frozen by now. I don't even know if he knows he's frozen. Would he want to go to Real Madrid if Mbappe is already there? They are the new Messi, Ronaldo. Star players for their clubs and brands, etc. That's a point that we've talked about a few times. Would he want to go and play with Mbappe, considering they are both Nike-sponsored athletes? They both have a Nike, boot deal. There he goes. They both have Nike as their shoe sponsor. So would they play together? It'd be a conflict of interests having those two in the same team. So, I mean, that's a point that we always make, isn't it, Hugh, about the whole Mbappe and Haaland playing in the same team. They have the same sponsors, and it would just be a clash.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys in the chat think, but me and Joe have always felt this, that it wouldn't make sense for Haaland and Mbappe to play in the same team. Maybe look from a football Galactico sense, Real Madrid would love it, but these guys they transcend just being footballers and really good footballers. They're massive brands, personal brands, backed by big companies. Both of them, I believe, are with Nike. Would Nike want them playing together? You could argue yes, but in my opinion, Nike would prefer the Ronaldo versus Messi type situation. They're both challenging each other for Europe's greatest honors and Europe's greatest awards. Like, it creates more of a narrative, creates more conversation. If Messi and Ronaldo played in the same team, the conversation, the ongoing conversation about Messi and Ronaldo wouldn't have been as intense as it always has been. There was always the fact that they were going head to head. They're always, who has more goals, who has more Ballon d'Ors, who has more trophies, who has more El Clasico goals. That was what made Messi versus Ronaldo so intense and so conversational. If you have Haaland and Mbappe in the same team, it makes it harder to form these debates and form these conversations and, this one's got this and this one's got that. Well, no, they're playing together now. So Mbappe assists Haaland and one of them will win the Ballon d'Or. No, they want to be, and I think for them going head to head, they want to be competing against each other because, you know what I'm saying? They'll want the Ballon d'Or each. They'll both want to win the major honors. They won't want to be sharing the limelight because that's how good they are. Yeah, look, it's one of those ones, Haaland and Mbappe. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see them playing together. And with all this story of Haaland being unsettled at Manchester City and in Manchester, and then trying to drive him to Madrid, where does this leave Mbappe? Is Mbappe just set to stay at PSG? I doubt it. I've seen a lot of conversation about Mbappe recently. The two main sides are he needs to leave PSG to go and really become an icon, a legend. Obviously, he's doing it with France consistently, but he needs to leave PSG to go and stamp his authority on club football and make a real legacy. But then the other side of that argument is, how can he leave PSG? Do you know what I'm saying? The weight of Paris is on his shoulders to lead PSG to Champions League glory, and not just once. You've got to do it a few times. That's what the way they'll operate. They've invested so much into Mbappe as a community, as a club, financially, everything, that it would create civil war if PSG allowed Mbappe to leave. So, or at least without dying trying type thing. I don't know. I mean, what do you think of the Mbappe one before we go on to Pep's comments?
Oh God. It's so messy and all over the place, and it's hard to make out exactly what's going on because I don't even think Mbappe knows what's going on. From what I've read so many different things on the Mbappe situation, like if he leaves for free, he doesn't get a certain loyalty payout that he would get if he stays on and is sold, and all of this other nonsense which is purely financial. And what was it? In the summer, he had an offer for a 1-year do in Saudi Arabia with astronomical wages, the same wages he was on at PSG, and then they'd let him go for free to Madrid in a year's time. That was an offer that was on the table that he said no to. So I have no idea where this one is going. I wish it would end. I wish he'd stick or twist. He'd either stick it at PSG and say, I'm staying, I'm not leaving, which I don't think he'll do. But I also don't think he's going to come out and say, yeah, I'm leaving, I'm going to Madrid. But I want him to do one of the two, because I just want it over with, because every summer it's Mbappe this, Mbappe that, and it's the main focus of the window, but nothing ever happens. It's the biggest smokescreen going.
I just find it hard to see Haaland and Mbappe both going to Real Madrid. I mean, Send It here says he can leave. Alvarez is more capable, and honestly, we play out of character when he's out there force feeding him and losing possession. Might be a hot take, but I can personally see Alvarez going to Real Madrid. I personally can. I think eventually, PSG will land Mbappe by hook or by crook, and then they'll need a striker. And for me, Haaland will be off the cards at that point. Look, I don't know how long Haaland's going to stay. I'm not saying it's forever, but I really think it'll be a lot longer than people expect. And I just find it really disrespectful when people are constantly saying, oh, he's going to Real Madrid, he wants to go to Real Madrid, he's leaving to go to Real Madrid. And I find the Spanish media very disrespectful when they're constantly fabricating these stories that he's unsettled. And look, what Pep has been saying, and people close to Haaland have been saying, is that it is fabricated. So allegedly it's fabricated. Like, here we go. Got some quotes here from Pep. Where is it now? He says, we don't have the feeling he is unhappy. Pep Guardiola insisted when responding to claims, maybe this media in Spain, especially Madrid, has more information than us. That is a sly stray, not even, well, barely sly. It's a stray at the Spanish media, because Pep, who grew up in La Masia, played for Barcelona, managed Barcelona, did the whole Jose versus Pep thing, and the media. For those of you who remember, and you're old enough to remember, Pep versus Jose, El Clásicos, that period in time, Barca versus Real Madrid. You know, Jose was turned down by Barcelona for Pep to be the manager. Jose had the villain arc, became the Real Madrid manager to tear down Pep's Barcelona. The Spanish media had their prime years then. They had field years, not just field days, field years. Pep knows what the Spanish media are like. So when he says comments like this, you know where it's coming from. You know where Pep is. That's coming from deep within Pep Guardiola when he says maybe the media in Spain, especially Madrid, because he's well aware, 2010 to 2012, exactly, Briggsy. He's well aware that all those media outlets and propaganda wheels that Real Madrid have on fishing rods, literally on strings, what they're like and what they're capable of. For those of you who are tuned into Real Madrid's media side of things, they have a number of media outlets. What are they called again? Joe, is El Chingrito, that guy TikTok? He's Real Madrid.
TikTok,
isn't he?
Yeah, he is, because he was always fuming when they got knocked out of the Champions League.
Yeah, people like him, man. People like him, other media outlets, they're massive Real Madrid. Just what's the term? What's the word again?
Puppets.
The phrase. Puppets. Yeah. Puppets, man. The Real Madrid puppets. So Pep knows, man. Pep knows. We don't have the feeling he's happy. But the big thing here is, apparently Pep said in this press conference, or apparently he shut down these suggestions immediately because someone close to Haaland told Pep or told the club that this is bollocks, that this isn't true. So someone close to Haaland is telling Manchester City that, look, this is absolute nonsense. So it's absolute nonsense.
Wait. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure one of the first things that was on the club's mind when these reports come out is straight on the phone. Is any of this true? Do we need to sort something out? So that's the first thing on the minds of the club, because, I mean, if he's unhappy, then you don't want that affecting the squad, do you? So, you know, it's first order of business from even just a footballing side. We see I mean, we've seen, even just going back to last year, how the club deals with unhappy players. Cancelo, I know he's not as important as Haaland, right? But you kicked off, out the door. See you later. Go and enjoy your football. We don't want you stinking up the gaff. Like, if a player's unhappy, we're not going to stop him from leaving. It'll never happen.
And Haaland's no different to that, Joe. Haaland's no different. Yeah. I know Haaland's a superstar. He's an amazing player for us, and what he achieved and what he's done is great. But if Haaland truly came to the club, sat them down in the boardroom and said, I'm going to be honest, I'm unhappy here. I'd like to go. I'm unsettled. I think the club would be like, is this what you really want? If he says, yeah, they'd go, right, we'll find a way to do it. We're Manchester City. We're not a fucking bitch. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to bend over backwards for players. Say, oh, please stay, please stay, please stay. If you don't want to play for us, go. If you don't want to play for us, you don't have to stay. No one's going to make you stay. We'll find the next person. We trust ourselves and trust the way we operate to keep staying. Like, when Erling Haaland leaves, whenever that may be, that doesn't mean success ends. When Pep Guardiola leaves, Yes, we will take a turn, or it'll go down, and for me, it's impossible to replicate what he did. But it doesn't mean we'll never win another trophy. It's what the club have built, the infrastructure we built. We have pride, man. We have pride. Craig, Haaland did in-house media. Haaland did in-house media this weekend, saying how happy he is at City, etc. Yes, his agent, who is negotiating a new contract. Always good to have escape route if needed. Now, I read a book. I can read. I think I've told some of you guys this, or people who've been in the streams from early. I read a book from a Norwegian journalist or book writer, I think, recently, about the life of Erling Haaland and about his entourage and about the way he operates and the way Alfie and co try to map out Haaland's future, Erling's future. And I believe any contract he signs will always have a release clause. From what I read and the vibe I get, any contract he signs, the number one thing that they seem to insist on before anything about fees or agent fees, anything, it's we want a release clause in here. Now, once again, to reiterate, I believe a specific club release clause, waffle, nonsense. But I believe there is a release clause. But I do also believe what Craig is saying is true. I believe there's going to be a new Haaland contract. I believe there's going to be a Haaland contract extension at some point, and everyone's going to go at that point, this is definitely the contract where Haaland has a Real Madrid release clause, because we can't fucking win. Do you know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah, even though a Real Madrid release clause is supposedly illegal, there will be one in there somehow. That is charge 116, and we will, continue from there. You can speak to our lawyers. But no, like, it's been the one consistent thing that he's had throughout his career. Everywhere he's been, he's had a release clause in every single contract, and he will continue to do that throughout his career. That's not a get out clause. That's not a if I'm unhappy I can get out. That's a if there's ever a time I want to get out, I know that there's the option there. I know that there's not going to be any negotiations. I know exactly what it's going to take. Other clubs know exactly what it's going to take. Because if he ever wants to try something new, the last thing he wants to do is have the club that he's at currently sit down in a negotiations room, haggling over this bonus, that bonus, this instalment, that instalment. If he wants to go, he wants to go. So he has a release clause in there so that a club comes in, pays the release clause, off he goes. Nice, quick, easy. Everyone's happy. He gets a release clause, so he's out that quick. The club get to set the release clause, or will have some say in what the release clause is, so they can be fairly happy with the price. Everyone's a winner.
Exactly. And we need to remember that, like, what I said is true. The world doesn't end whenever Erling Haaland leaves. Guys, we're 7 likes off 70. We could break a record here. We could break a HMTV record here and hit 70 likes while we're live. We're also 2 subscribers off 6.9k. So if 2 of you aren't subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button. And then if you want to join the army, the HMTV channel membership army, there's a link in the pinned comment there in the chat. You can just click that link. It's $3.99, and me and Joe massively appreciate all of your support. But yeah, make sure you hit the like button. Like I said, look, with Erling Haaland, absolutely love him for the memories and what he's given us, and I believe there's still so much more to come. This is no eulogy I'm giving you here. This is not me saying he's gone, because he's not. I believe he's staying for a long time. But people who are really fixated on, when's Haaland going to leave? I don't want him to leave, and I'm getting really tired. I'm getting really worried because Keith down the pub says he's going to go to Real Madrid, and this person heard that he's unsettled, and yada yada yada. Stay calm. Manchester City was successful before Erling Haaland. Look, I love Haaland, but before Haaland, I loved Manchester City. After Haaland, I will love Manchester City. So I don't allow myself to go, oh fuck, when's he gonna leave, or when he leaves we're screwed. No, absolutely not. Trust the club, and you love Manchester City because you love Manchester City, not because you love Erling Haaland. Haaland's just one you love now. He's one you love now, but he won't always be there. I put money on Haaland wanting to emulate Aguero's goal record, and Prem appearances. Look, with the club that we are now and the infrastructure we've built, we have it in place that, look, as long as the charges don't go totally south and we don't get rinsed and sent down to whatever league, we're a club that's in a position to at least continuously challenge for all the major honours in Europe. I believe that even post Pep Guardiola, that'll be the case. I have that much trust in our board and our ownership that even when Pep leaves, we'll build right to continue the Manchester City way and continue trying to win trophies. So do you know what I'm saying? I really believe that. So with Haaland, I think he's well aware that particularly once the charges go right, there's not many other clubs in Europe you can look at and say, where am I guaranteed to at the very least challenge for Europe's major honours? Where? Real Madrid? You don't know. You don't know. For me, Real Madrid are a ticking time bomb. Being run by Florentino Perez, wants the Super League and he wants to run this himself and he wants to chair that and he wants to buy this and buy that. It's all crazy. Also, going to Real Madrid, you're just one of many. Manchester City, we are known for making legends, loving our players. Aguero statue, Silva statue, Company statue, Bell, Summerby, Franny Lee statues. Our legends we love and we appreciate. Real Madrid booed Cristiano Ronaldo out of the Bernabeu. Arguably their greatest ever player, if not their greatest ever player. They booed him out of the Bernabeu. They got rid of him. They were sick of him. They don't appreciate their players. Where are you going to be loved? More, Manchester City. And can you challenge more for trophies at Manchester City? In my opinion, yeah. I don't see why not. I think we are as capable of challenging long-term for Champions League as Real Madrid are. And Premier League, I believe that too. Might be blind optimism and blind hope and love, but that's how much trust I have in the club, Joe.
Well, even if you can argue that we're not a better place to challenge, we're no worse of a place to challenge. Like, we're no worse. We're the current holders of both our domestic league and Champions League. Beat Real Madrid last year. You know, he was part of that. And we beat them. And I don't think anybody has actually realised this whole Super League thing. If they go off and join the Super League, probably won't be playing Champions League. Well, they won't be playing Champions League. So he won't be able to win the Champions League. He'll be able to win the Super League with, what was the clubs announced in it? PSV and Club Brugge and the Super Europa League is what it's being called now, because it's just a load of, these mid-tier European teams. So, like, yeah, if he wants to do that, he can go and do that. I suppose no one's ever won the Super League before. But it's not really a prestigious tournament now, is it? So, I mean, maybe he has eyes on the goal record. I don't know. I mean, if he does, let's be honest, with the way he's going, it's not going to take him long to smash that one, is it? Like, Aguero had so many injuries throughout his career. It will not take Haaland long. As long as he stays fit, it's not going to take him long to just absolutely blitz that record. The amount of competitions we play, the amount of games we play a season, the amount of goals he scores, not going to take long at all.
I'm going to say something that some of you might think is crazy. I think if Aguero had an injury-free career or a largely injury-free career, I think he would have beaten Alan Shearer's record. Don't aim your guns at me, people. It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. I think Aguero was an absolute bagsman. Haaland is in the exact same position at an early stage right now. Stay injury-free. Any record you want is there to be got. Any record you want is there to be got. Genuinely. Briggsy, treated Ronaldo and Bale like shit, Real Madrid. People fantasize and romanticize about Real Madrid. They are a horrible football club. A horrible cultured football club. Yeah? They had the Galacticos and they've won however many Champions Leagues. That's admirable. But football, yes, everyone's main target is to win trophies, but us as fans, we want to fall in love with players. We want to have memories. We want to have icons and heroes and legends. You can't do that at Real Madrid. Because once you get over the hill, they start telling you to fuck off and you're no use anymore. Disgusting football club. You think about the amount of greats they've had, and I don't mean just great footballers, the best ever. Other than Messi, all the best players ever have pretty well, and Maradona have played for Real Madrid. Figo, Zidane, CR7, R9, Bale, Beckham, you name them, all Roberto Carlos, man, all these guys. And all they get talked about is, yeah, they're unbelievable players. But in Real Madrid folklore, do they idolize these players like they deserve? No, they don't. No one actually deeps it enough. No one actually talks about it enough. How CR7 was kicked out of the Bernabeu, booed by Real Madrid fans. Do you know how mental that is? In my opinion, the second greatest player of all time. Because, Ronaldo and that, but to be kicked out of Real Madrid and booed by the fans. Horrible, horrible club, Joe.
After what, 4 Ballon d'Ors? How many Champions Leagues did he win with Madrid? Was it 3, 4? I don't know.
Loads anyway.
League titles, etc. Need I go on with the amount of achievements that Cristiano Ronaldo had to be booed out of the Bernabeu? We'd never boo anyone out of it unless they genuinely left in a, terrible and disgraceful way.
If Aguero, Joe, Aguero's last season, yeah, if he stunk the gaff up, like properly stunk the gaff up, listen, if anybody booed him in the Etihad, they'd be filled in. They would. I know for a fact in the South Stand they'd be filled in.
He did stink the gaff up. He stunk the gaff up. He was wham. He was massive. He was absolutely massive. He couldn't move.
He still scored goals though, didn't he?
He still scored a couple. Yeah, he still scored a couple of goals. But let's be honest, he was so unreliable in terms of his fitness and let's not be around the bush. We still played with a false 9 that season.
Yeah, but the fitness is out of his hands, Joe. The fitness ain't his fault.
Yeah, but you say you didn't proper stink up the gaff, but he wasn't very good. But no one gave a shit. Everybody was. The people were in the verge of tears that he was leaving. That he was out the door.
Pep was crying. Aguero's departure had Pep Guardiola crying.
And he wasn't even using him, and he was still upset. That is the level. Whereas Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the best players ever to grace the game of football, gets booed out the Bernabeu because he wanted to leave and try something else.
Mental. So these are all things that Haaland needs to, and I've no doubt will consider. Where can you build a legacy? Where can you build a dynasty? Haaland is on track. I know it's so early in his Man City career, but he's on track to join Aguero, Silva, Company and Co. and Franny Lee, Summerby and Bell with statues outside the Etihad. Why not? Why not? He has it in it. It's all, the world's at his feet at Manchester City. He's loved. He's properly loved. Anybody who goes to the Etihad out there, I don't know. I know Briggsy does. I don't know Hungy or Sean Fogarty or Craig. Do any of you, Jimmy Grimble? But anybody who goes to the Etihad knows Haaland in the stadium, on match day, it's just like God. Everyone's looking at God. Him and De Bruyne, it's just loved. So, is he going to get that in Madrid? I don't know. But then again, does he want to go to Real Madrid in the future? Maybe. Is it in his plans? We don't know. But these are all things that need to be considered. And just because maybe he thought one thing and he indicated towards one thing when he first signed or around the time when he first signed, doesn't mean that's what he's going to think now. When it gets to the point where his dad's like, all right, this is where we kind of thought we'd be at Real Madrid, Erling might turn around and go, I don't want to leave. I like it here. You know what I mean? I have the fans in the palm of my hand, best manager in the world, great infrastructure of the club, best facilities, and we're winning trophies. Why would I want to leave? I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, he shouldn't want to leave because even if you think about the squad that he's around, Kevin De Bruyne is getting on, but he's still got it. He's still up there. We've seen already in the limited time that he's been back, he's still got it. And even when he sort of tails off, look at Foden's performances in the middle of the park. Look at his development in midfield. Kevin De Bruyne wends off a little bit. Bang, Phil Foden. There you go. There's your new partner. There's your new 1-2 punch. Go and have fun. He's nothing to worry about in terms of the future of us being competitive or whatever. He's got nothing to worry about that.
I agree. Just a quick thank you to everybody in the building. We've hit 70 likes. Joe, I can't see your camera, but I hope you're clapping visibly. We've hit 70 likes in the stream. Honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of you. I love this channel. I'm having a tough time recently with a few things, and I appreciate you all. Me and Joe both appreciate you all coming in and chatting to us late at night and having these conversations. So yeah, appreciate you all for getting us to 70 likes. We're 2 subscribers off 6.9k. Anybody who hasn't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to join the HMTV membership army, the link is in the pinned comment in the chat if you want to join and help us out or whatever. Don't have to, but it's massively appreciated. I just wanted to take a second there to thank you all for your support, because we started streaming again a couple of weeks ago and we didn't expect to have such an unbelievable community. Like I said, we're never dying to have 10,000 people watching us live or be world-renowned streamers. We just want a good community of people that come in and chat to us and get involved and hit the like button and subscribe, and good people, good conversations, good debates, whatever. And that's what we have. absolutely love it, man. I absolutely love it. Can't thank you all enough for everything. So yeah. Haaland, man. Haaland, yeah, it's all banter and chill vibes. Exactly, Briggsy. That's what we try to be here, man. Just a good community. Let you guys come in, share your thoughts. We'll share our thoughts. It's what it is here in the HMTV channel, man. I love doing City Extra as well. I love doing Big Six, but this is a special channel. This is a special channel and a special community. So yeah, just wanted to take a second to shout out all of you legends, man, legends. Right, with Haaland, he's not going anywhere. I'm really confident he's not going anywhere. But my kind of final piece of advice to you lot would be prepared. Be prepared for these kind of things to continuously arise. I'd say this summer, Joe, if I was to predict, we'll hear a lot of rumors. We'll hear a lot of rumors, fabricated for the most part, about Erling Haaland. I'm pretty sure we're meant to go to America in the summer to play preseason out there. So Haaland will be at that, but I'd say the media will be all over it, Joe.
I'd say brace yourselves for even into sort of past the summer window, because Pep's contract's up at the end of 2025. The vultures are going to be circling until he signs an extension. They're going to be like, is this Pep's final season? Will Haaland follow him out the door? And that's going to be so messy. He's got to brace yourselves for it, like you said. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't get worked up over it. I wouldn't take it too seriously, because me and you did a stream not too long ago saying we both think he's going to add on at least another year or two, Pep, onto his contract. We think he's going to sign another extension. So I won't worry too much about any reports trying to link Pep going and Haaland going at the same time when his contract's up. But it will happen. Those reports will happen.
It's the nature of being the best team in the world. I'm not even just saying that from a biased perspective. We are the best team in the world. We are. I won't hear otherwise. The nature is that everybody from the outer circle, or everybody, not the outer circle, sorry, everybody on the outer sphere of our circle, the exact same thing. Everybody outside of our camp or our community, our club, all wants it to be taken down. They want the end of Manchester City's reign of terror. They want Pep to leave, they want Haaland to leave, and they want City to go back to being, as the word they like to use, irrelevant. But we keep doing our thing, man. We keep doing our thing. We keep proving people wrong, pissing people off. As the very beginning of the stream said, someone said about Grizz, me and Grizz clashing last night. That's what Grizz does, man. Look, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would hate Manchester City. I would hate Manchester City because Manchester City ruined their greatest manager in Premier League era and their greatest team in Premier League era's reign. You know what I mean? They should have won a lot more. And they know by saying you're irrelevant and nobody cares, they think that's getting a win. But then if I say, well, Klopp's now leaving because he's tired of competing with us. Oh, it's too far. Too far.
We've been through this. It's not too far. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's just taking a holiday.
Maybe when Juan Malilo leaves, Klopp could have a go at being Pep's assistant, and he might learn how to win consistently.
And when Juan Malilo leaves for the second time.
Yeah, when he goes on his next road trip. Hungy, Rodri de Saudi, that's so unlike him. I mean, genuinely, he could aim to become the GOAT. He could. Rodri could be the GOAT CDM if he keeps going the way he is. Who was it? Jimmy Grimble was asking me, are you coming to the States for pre-season? I think I am. Nothing booked, nothing confirmed, but I'm planning a few things with a few people. I'm hoping to be in the States for pre-season. I was in the States last summer in New York for the first time. I'm hoping to be in Los Angeles, maybe. I'm pretty sure City will be playing in Los Angeles, I've heard. I'm hoping to go. But we'll see. A lot of planning. It's an expensive thing to do. We'll have to see. Scouts are so dumb. They have now sanctioned a documentary following Klopp leaving. I've heard it all now. Look, like I said, I get Klopp being a legend at Liverpool. I actually get that, and I have no issue with that. But if you're going to start talking about him up there with Pep, shut up, mate. Sorry, nah. Absolutely. I'm just... Look... It's not even a disrespecting, and people are too emotional and protective over Klopp and this love fest they have over him. He doesn't scrape the barrel when it comes to Pep Guardiola and Pep's success. He just doesn't. Look at the numbers. Look at how many times Pep has pipped Klopp to these trophies. They speak for themselves. I'm sorry. I hate to burst your bubble, but Pep is clear of Jurgen Klopp, and Pep ruined Klopp.
Yeah,
Pep ruined Klopp. He did. Let's rip the bandage off now, and stop beating around the bush about Jurgen Klopp and this big fairy tale. Pep destroyed Klopp's era. He won 2 majors in 9 years and came this close to many more. But who stopped him by this bit? Pep Guardiola, and doesn't get the respect he deserves. Why? Because City are irrelevant and 115. Oh,
he had his era ruined by 2 people / institutions. One of them was Pep Guardiola, who beat him on the final day multiple times, twice, potentially 3 times, depending on how this season goes. And then obviously the other one being Real Madrid, who beat him twice in the Champions League final. So, those 2 things, Real Madrid and Pep Guardiola, have basically ruined a 9-year era of what should have been dominance and winning all these major honours. And to be honest, that documentary might be worth a watch, actually, because there'll be a lot of heartbreak in it, I'm sure, or there should be, considering you can't write Klopp's time here without mentioning the fact how he lost the league twice on the last day by a point and lost 2 Champions League finals as well. Can't write his history.
But people are using these things as if they're achievements. Lost the league by a point twice. What an amazing guy. Got to 97 points and just didn't win it. What are the words to highlight there? Didn't win it. Didn't fucking win it.
Well, there were some Scousers on TalkSport begging for a second place trophy. So did they win something there?
Off. And the thing is,
I can't believe that was real.
People are talking about Klopp's journey and resurgence with Liverpool as if he brought QPR and made them, the title challenger of Pep's Manchester City, big bad City, and Klopp made this small club compete with them. Liverpool are a ginormous club that should have been competing anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? They should have been up there regardless. They're the 2nd biggest club in Great Britain, and probably in the top 5 biggest clubs, are in the top 5 biggest clubs in world football. Do you know what I'm saying? They should be doing that. That's the expectation when your club is that big. That's why we laugh at Manchester United right now, because they are the biggest and they're so shit.
What were Liverpool doing instead? What were Liverpool doing instead? Do you remember West Brom at home? 2-2. Way!
Yeah.
No. You cannot be going around doing that. You are big old, heritage Liverpool football club. You can't be going 2-2 draw West Brom at home. Going, I don't know if it was a cup or what, all interlinked hands. Hey, we didn't win, but we didn't lose. Yeah. No.
If we're small and irrelevant and winning all these trophies, it makes it even more embarrassing for Liverpool, who are huge and relevant, for not winning them. I think that's a fair statement. No? No?
Well, people are beg to differ, won't they? People will beg to differ.
If we're a small club, as they like to tell us we are, and irrelevant, like they like to tell us we are, but we're winning everything ahead of this huge relevant club. I hate the word relevant and irrelevant. Ahead of this huge relevant club, that makes our achievements even more amazing, even more admirable.
It does to us, but it probably doesn't to other people, because like you said, we're cheats. We've got 115 charges. We bought it all. Got no history, no heritage, no aura. I guess some people would say as well. I hate that word as well, aura.
Seen a bit, Craig, man. Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. Kai, Liverpool are actually bigger than Manchester United going by trophies. There you go. Even more. Hugh, Craig from Anfield Agenda's crying. Good. Hungry guys, they're off topic, but it's kind of peak Cancelo went from one season being so, what does that say, balling out and clear of fullbacks to so meaty. It's called a bad attitude, Hungy. That's what happens when you got a bad attitude, man. Everywhere he's been, they've told us he's had a bad attitude. And now he is where he is. It is what it is. I'm glad he's not at City. We don't need him. What was this about Jimmy Grimble and New York again? I was hoping they're going to go to Boston or New York. They might do, Jimmy. They might do. I'm pretty sure they are going to Los Angeles as one of the destinations. They might go to New York or Boston as well. In fact, they probably will go to New York because of the relationship we have with New York City Football Club. But yeah, listen, we're going way off topic here now. Haaland's going nowhere. Pep's going nowhere. City are still irrelevant, apparently. But
Yay!
we're irrelevant and winning against teams that are relevant. So sleep on that, people. Listen, but here's Stefano is an LFC fan. I haven't read it yet. I'm feeling he's going to be sending shots. You got the best manager and outspent LFC by 400 mil in Pep era. I expect you to win it all, to be honest. You've done good. Actually, you know what? Respect, Stefano. I respect that. That's actually a respectful message and a fair opinion. See, Liverpool fans like Stefano or Michael Corleone, I can speak to, I can chat to, and I'm willing to chat rationally back. But as Liverpool fans who just want to go 115, irrelevant, small club, no one cares when you win, I'm going to be a prick back. Do you know what I mean? I'm going
Mr. Khan, Mr. Grizz Khan.
Grizz my boy, man. Grizz my boy. Grizz my brother, man. He's Grizz one of my great friends, but sometimes with the city conversation, he oversteps the mark a little bit. So I have to remind him. Yeah, I've seen the emails, Briggsy. I know, man. Craig.
He has seen the emails. Don't know how, but he has seen those emails and he knows exactly what they are and exactly what we've done wrong. But none of us do. None of us do. But he does.
It's people like that, Craig from Anfield Agenda, I can't stand. Grizz knows what he's doing when he says these things. He knows. I don't think he actually means them. He just knows what he's doing. Craig believes it and he means it. That's the worrying part. You are very relevant now. I think so too, Stefano. I'd like to think we are after all the trophies we've won. Not even saying that arrogantly, but you know, with success comes relevancy. Respect, but that's a nice one of saying Klopp spent 800 mil. Oh, look, it's tit for tat, isn't it? You can argue all you want about these things, but we'll never, because of the nature of football and the tribalism, we'll never get a unanimous agreement on anything. But yeah, look, I think we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a really, really enjoyable stream. Big up to everybody who came in. Once again, if you want to help us out and become a channel member like Briggsy in the chat there, big up Briggsy and Rosemary and Brax. The pinned message and Joe's just put in the live chat. It's $3.99 a month, and you're just helping support the channel. Really, you're helping support me and Joe. You get cool little emojis. You get a little badge beside your name, and you're part of the army. You're part of the army, so we massively appreciate that. If you want to join, if you haven't done so already, subscribe as well to the channel. I think we're about one, maybe. Let me check. We're one subscriber off 6.9k. So hit the subscribe button if you want to be the 6.9 thousand subscriber. We're on, how many likes are we on? 82, man. Raw! 82 likes is huge. If you're watching on playback, hit the like button, because I assume all of you in the chat now. Hit the like button. Big up, legends. We won't be live tomorrow because I've got a few bits to sort out, a few things to do. I've got Big Six Monday, so Tuesday night we will be back, myself and Joe, after the Brentford game. Hopefully a few things to talk about by then. But yeah, listen, we're live almost an hour to the minute now. Massively appreciate you all, absolute legends. And yeah, we'll see you Tuesday. Good night and God bless. Wrap her up, Joey boy.